go. We'll set a course to the Death Star.
From Tatooine.
It's not too far. NYC.
Spidey's town. Shooting webs upside down.
In the land of ice and snow.
Arendelle.
We'll let it go.
Start your engines.
Take your place.
Radiator Springs. It's time to race.
Disney Worlds of Wonder collector cards are now at Woolworths and Big W. Get one pack free with every $30 you spend.
Make no attempt to reload your device. You are now entering the Hellhole.
Shakalaka! We're live, pal! I believe. Welcome back to the Hellhole. It's been a little while. We're back doing more of this trading card hoo-ha. It's been chaotic, so I haven't been around quite as much as I'd like, but if you're over in the Hellhole on YouTube, you'll be checking out weekly episodes of Saturday Night Slam Masters. It's WWE 2K sort of E-Fed type stuff based on Capcom's wrestling characters, predominantly based on the Muscle Bomber series, the Slam Masters games. So go check that out, but it's not wrestling all the time. I do intend to continue doing other things. Things have been a little chaotic around here, but we're back. We're doing more trading card stuff, and when you know it, I go to the shops, I get my my groceries, and suddenly Gambit style, they got a fistful of packs of cards, they start whipping them at me. You know, I'm not even asking for this stuff. So you saw there was a little bit of like a TV spot. You can get these at Woolworths and Big W. This is an Australian sort of supermarket giveaway tie-in with Disney. If you head over to the archive, you've seen I did the 100 Wonders, I think it was called Disney 100 Wonders. So they did that about a year ago. It's roughly the same time this year. They're doing a new series, Disney Worlds of Wonder. The ad tells you that it's every $30 to get a pack, but I have not spent massive quantities of money. There's just participating products, you get bonus packs basically. So we've kind of we've inadvertently struck it big. So we got 25 packs here. I figure I might as well share the experience with you. I'm kind of interested in this one because last time I wasn't as keen. I'm not like the biggest Disney guy. I think I repeatedly mentioned that, but I'm a big Marvel guy. I like comic books. If you head to the archive, we've done some flipping. But basically, the Marvel offerings in this set seem to be a lot more interesting. Last time it was sort of predominantly movie characters, which I'm not really as excited about. I'm an old school comics guy. Well, this is like we're already getting into it. So this is comics. Okay, so movie wise, sure, we got Star-Lord off the top. Okay, not a character that I'm quite as excited about, although I do like this version of Star-Lord is sort of like it's fairly different to the classic version of the character. This one sort of crops up in the around 2010, maybe late. I forget exactly when he loses sort of. He's got like a fireman style helmet. It's a little bit different. He's a little bit more gruff. You know, he's not the comedy character of the films. That's sort of like the mid 2000s or maybe late 2000s when they do the Annihilation stuff. I think it's Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. Is that right? Memory's getting foggy here. It's very late too. yeah, so this version of Star-Lord, obviously much more about the movie, so I'm not as into that, but we're kicking things off. Here we go. So X-Men, X-Men are back. They're no longer on the persona non grata list. You know, Disney had this sort of this kind of merchandising block for a while there, while Fox retained the multimedia licensing rights. Really, I think it was just movies and television. I don't think it was merchandising, but Marvel didn't want to support them in any way, so they shut down, you know, that X-Men wing. So we're gonna get X-Men characters in this one, and that's a pretty groovy Jean Grey. I'm a little bit disappointed here. This set looks like, you know, looks like this is going to be more of a uniform style. All the cards have maybe like the same sort of basic format. I felt like the previous set, if we just revisit, here's a Steamboat Willie Mickey, now in the public domain. I feel like this set showcases the artwork a little bit better. So, I don't know. I'm maybe not as keen on these. Although, see, I'm neglecting... Oh, see, this set, interestingly enough, this set actually does something with the back. The previous set, the 100 Wonders, was just like a generic card back, almost like a playing card deck or something, just uniform. It's like these ones are going to throw some surprises on the back, so I like that. That is a good development, and that maybe balances out the generic element of the front. I'm not sure if these images are going to like maybe connect up or something. There's something about Hydra base. I don't know if they're turning this into more of a card game. Jean Grey's got the X Mansion. Maybe they're just going to be uniform to groups of characters. We'll figure that out as we go, presumably. But yeah, here's the last one, Arnim Zola, but it's comic style Arnim Zola. And I've always maintained that Captain America: Winter Soldier is a good film. For me, a little, just slightly overrated. People got a little overexcited. To me, if you want to watch Heat, just watch Heat. You don't need to watch. And really, The Dark Knight had already done sort of a riff on Heat and done it to a very high standard. I felt like Captain America's Winter Soldier slightly overrated, and I feel like to get that one over the top, to bump it up to like a 4.5 star, maybe even a 5-star effort, you got to do two things. You got to get Robert Redford at the end to peel off his face and be the Red Skull, and when Black Widow and Cap go into that sort of underground bunker and they talk to Arnim Zola, you need them to be looking at like all the old school, like old monitors, and then the ground rumbles, and you sort of what's going on, and you need this thing to step out from behind the monitors and like come out and attack them. That would put that movie over the edge, in my opinion, particularly if it's straight up this with the monitor in the belly. You know, what is that, Krang style? Pretty sure Arnim Zola did it a long time before Krang, my friends. So that's cool. Arnim Zola comic style. That's getting at what I'm looking for. You know, that's what I'm all about. We're here for we're really here for the Marvel characters, if I'm honest. I'm not as keen on the Disney stuff, but we'll see. Okay, so we're getting a mix this time. Genie from Aladdin, that's cool. I was you know, I saw Aladdin. I'm pretty sure I saw it in the cinema when it came out. I got the Blu-ray maybe in the last year because Disney got out of the Blu-ray game down in the Hellhole. And I didn't want to miss out on some of the movies that I was interested in, so I grabbed them. I think there was a bit of a sale as well, capitalizing on the panic buying. Here we go. We got, who's this? Is this a Ratatouille thing or something? I don't really know. Let me just embiggen my screen so I can see stuff on my screen. Don't worry, we'll get this going. We'll try to keep the pace. Colette Tattoo. I assume that's Ratatouille. Is it going to tell me anything? Yeah, Ratatouille. There's your Eiffel Tower. We enjoyed the Olympics in Paris recently. That was very nice. And then finishing off with a Marvel card. It's Black Widow. It's not the most exciting image, in my opinion. That's not the greatest rendering of Black Widow, but it gets the job done. And there's Avengers Tower. Having that little extra something on the back is nice. So what are the characters I'm looking for? I don't know the full list, but I did sort of check out just to see, you know, what was differentiating this set from the previous one. You know, Daredevil's in there, Bullseye. I think there's a Kingpin. So some of those are intriguing to me as a comics fan. There's some other good ones. Jasmine, so more Aladdin. What do we got? Agrabah. Not really featuring, showcasing the environment or the artwork terribly well. That's a little disappointing. Might be nice to have a better composition on the back, but again, this makes me wonder, will this connect up to an adjacent card? I'm not sure. We'll have to figure it out as we go. Here we go. Alfredo Linguini, another Ratatouille thing. I'm not really into the Pixar stuff generally, so I don't really know much about that guy. Hey, we were talking about Winter Soldier. Well, here he is, Bucky himself, going to be in the Thunderbolts film sometime soon. I think is that early next year? It's like February, I think. Is that right? Or is that Captain America? Captain America might be February. I forget when Thunderbolts is coming. Maybe that's even later this year. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with the slate, but Winter Soldier is going to be in that. And there you go, Hydra Base. Ah, interesting. So, where's our Arnim Zola? Let's see if these connect. What are the numbers? We got 78 and 76. So we're missing, yeah, look at that. We're building a picture now. Try to get these both in frame. So there's something in between there. 77, I wonder, would they do a Red Skull card? I got my doubts about that one. I wonder who goes between Winter Soldier and Zola. Could just be Captain America, I guess. Although having the Hydra base on the back of a Cap card is a little bit weird. Hey, check it out. It's Mufasa. Everything you see will be yours. Lion King's pretty good. I think that was another Blu-ray we grabbed in the Panic Dash. There's Pride Rock. Not the most exciting view, but we now know that we'll build a bigger picture. We're back to Pixar. It's Cruz Ramirez. Haven't seen Cars, if I'm honest. Wasn't overly excited about that one, but them's the brakes. Radiator Springs. That looks like it's probably a cent. Could that be a center card? I imagine that's the center. Better rendering. And, well, we're into the Star Wars. It's Jabba the Hutt. So I was a big Star Wars fan. I resisted as a small child, but I eventually saw it. Became a mad fan. And then they did the special editions sort of a little while after that, and that sort of fueled the fire. I'm not as big into Star Wars these days. I just kind of lost interest, and they don't really appeal to me the way they used to, but I'm still keen to see what we got here in Star Wars. So that Jabba the Hutt, did I breeze past that a little quick? In case you're feeling unsatisfied, there you, a little bit green maybe in the coloring. I think of him as maybe a bit more brown than that. And there's Jabba's palace. That looks like it could be a sort of special edition version of Jabba's palace. So we got our first double. It's Mufasa. Lightning McQueen. Everybody knows him from Cars. That's good enough. Not something I'm overly excited about. Could that be the center? That's quite nice. Nice to see the sort of, is that like 1950s American style sort of diner, or we call it a service station. I guess you call it a gas station. Hey, there you go, Bib Fortuna. You know who my guy is in Star Wars. It's Salacious Crumb. If there's a Salacious Crumb card, I'll enjoy that. You know how it goes. So if you're interested in more of what Disney did with the, or Woolworths did with the previous Disney 100 Wonders, make sure you hit up the archive. There's a couple of sessions of that. We might convene for some more of this in the future. I do have a few extra packs in the tank, but here we go. What is this? I can't remember what this one was called. Was this ennui, sadness, embarrassment, and envy? Inside Out, is that what that was called? I can't remember what that was called. Is that right? I don't know. Disney aficionados, step up. Take the stage, inform me, educate me. Here's Miguel. I don't know who Miguel is. I don't know what this is. This is, I presume that's one of those ones that came out recently. I feel like there were a couple of Pixar movies that came out and they seemed to come out of nowhere. I had no reference for them. They came and they went. And I forget what that last one was called. I want to say there was a Latin American flavor to it, so maybe that's something to do with that. Hey, here's our guy, Lando Calrissian. Looking suave. The Billy D. Billy D. Williams looking good. Cloud City, that's pretty good. I like that one. That's good. I always like Lando. He's cool. I wonder if there'll be a Lobot. That'd be kind of fun. Maybe a Lobot and a Darth Vader or a Han Solo. Changing the terms of the agreement. What do we got here? Fear, disgust, anger, and anxiety. That I know that guy. Is it Inside Out? I think that's what that was. Fair enough. Harris, Hubert, and Hamish. What's that called? Is it Brave? I presume that's Brave. I don't want to be racially profiling anyone, but I'm assuming that's Brave. Gingers aplenty. Hey, it's Chewbacca! All the good stuff. I like that. Star Wars. So there you go. Cloud City, Chewie. Maybe there'll be a 3PO or something. I don't know. They're going to do like a busted up 3PO? Probably not. That wouldn't be very appealing to the kids. To the zoo-going kids. Well, I see another guy here. We're short on Marvel, but we're getting some more. There's Joy. Is Joy an Inside Out character? You know, Riley's headquarters. I don't know what that means. That means nothing to me. There you go. I don't know. I don't know what this character's name is. Merida? I presume that's Merida. Something like that. Again, clue me in. I hate mispronunciations, particularly in names, but this one's, I don't know, Merida. Is that Brave? She doesn't quite look like what I imagine. Oh no, there you go, Brave. That one's got a nice logo. That makes it easy. Easy for a bit of a rookie like me. That's nice. That's a nice card though. That's a good rendering of the character. You know, I imagine if you're a fan, that gets it done. Here's a good one, R2-D2. So it seems like some of the Star Wars ones have gone more of like a cartoony type style. Not quite clip art. It's got some more detail to it than that, but it's got a hand-drawn style, even if it's not actually hand-drawn. I guess we gotta speculate about that kind of stuff these days. There's Cloud City, nice central one. Luke is dangling around somewhere down here on this bottom bit. Gonna get picked up by the Falcon. Let's keep this show on the road. Keep moving. I don't know, these are alright. I mean, they're good as sort of like a freebie thing, because a fella's got to eat, he's got to get his supplies, and if you want to give me some fun stuff as a little bit of a bonus, sure, why not? Hey, there you go. Big villain from the Thor corner of the Marvel Universe, it's Hela. Of course, she was Cate Blanchett in Thor Ragnarok. A bit more successful than the recent Borderlands film. Let's not get into that, though. What's on the back? Of course, it's Asgard. It has to be. So maybe there'll be a Thor and a Loki or something like that. That's pretty cool. It'd be great if there was a Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill's one that I'd like to see. We got another Black Widow, so we're into the doubles, and I thought you were blind! It's Lando Calrissian. Something's getting in my eyes. I think maybe I've kicked up some dust on the way in here. Maybe the mic or something. That's a bad idea. I should leave my eyes alone. Okay. Whoa, okay. We got a Marvel pack here. Okoye from the Black Panther films and comics. Pretty good character. The Dora Milaje. Whatever they are. Sort of, I'm trying to remember. Are they a Christopher Priest period of the Black Panther comics? Man, that was a great run. Yeah, if you don't know your Black Panther comics, like, you're missing out. You gotta get into the Christopher Priest. I was a big fan of the Reginald Hudlin one, particularly the first sort of story arc with John Romita Jr., that first, like, I don't know what it is, 6 issues. That's killer, man. And they made, BET, I guess Reginald Hudlin has some sort of involvement there. They made an animated version, and it rules. It's sort of like it's a notch up from a motion comic. So it's not like, don't go in expecting top-class animation. Mind you, I don't know that a lot of the Marvel cartoons these days have very good animation. The Disney era has not been a great advancement in animation for Marvel. But this Black Panther cartoon, if you ever find it, I think when it probably came out like 2008 or something like that, man, that rules. It's great. It's fantastic. And it's got this killer intro theme that will get stuck in your head. It's really good. It's sort of like this, I don't know if it's an actual language or if it's like a Wakandan language where there's sort of like this chant. If you know it, it's in your head right now. It's very good. Definitely check that out. I like Black Panther. And Fantastic Four's coming up, and he's originally came from the Fantastic Four series. Obviously, good enough character, becomes his own thing very quickly. We got Loki. I mean, I'm not as big into Loki, and I'm not really into the Tom Hiddleston stuff, but fair enough. Get that in there. I'm sure there'll be a Thor. That'll be pretty good. And we got a Winter Soldier double. In terms of like Winter Soldier cards, background's a little generic, but you know, getting it done. Sort of a modern sensibility. Not sure if that's Russia, but some sort of metropolis environment. I like the rendering though of the character. That's pretty good. Not sure if that's existing art. I don't recognize it immediately, but I'm a little bit less across everything recent. Let's see what we're getting now. Well, yeah, okay. We're not... Oh, alright. Well, we got a good one, but we're kicking off with Cosmo, which is based on a real-life, I believe, Russian cosmonaut, you know, space... Was it Russians that sent the dog into space, or was that Americans? Maybe it was Americans. Did Russians do monkeys? And then Marvel turned that into Red Ghost and the Super Apes. Another Fantastic Four character. Don't think there's going to be any of him in these trading cards, or I'm trying to remember, what are the Super Apes names? Mikhail. Is there Piotr? There's always a Piotr. That's Colossus. Hey, if there's a Colossus card, I'll be into that. So there's Cosmo, Guardians of the Galaxy, and I guess Nowhere. I'm pretty sure Nowhere was created for the movie, so I'm not as excited about that one. But here's a good one. The X-Men are back. Deadpool and Wolverine in theaters right now. We got the yellow costume. We got the mask. It's all happening. You know, going in so tight. I mean, you're only getting like one claw and a little bit of a claw. In terms of representing the character, this image is maybe not the greatest, but as a sort of featured, you know, centered, focal image, it's okay. It's okay. It's a pretty good, clean rendering of Wolverine. There's the X Mansion on the background, on the back. So yeah, that's pretty good. Nice to get a Wolverine. That's cool. And an Ultron. Again, I guess there's maybe more movie representation than I actually realized. But in terms of getting some villains, oh, so he's the Hydra base card. Is this number 77? Interesting. So you can see down the front here, there's numbering. So there's 108 cards in the whole set, which would fit your binder well. There's a new binder to buy. If you head in the archive and watch the second 100 Wonders I did, I unboxed a binder so you can see what they're like. This one, 108, so it's going to fill your sleeves all the way. I think the previous one was like 3 shy of a full page at the end. But yeah, but you've also got numbering, so the Hydra base numbering. There's 3 cards. They're gonna sit nicely across the page, so when you flip your card page, you'll be able to see these in the background. And yeah, so 2 out of 3 for the Hydra base cards. That's a nice way to keep you engaged, I guess, particularly if you're like one of the youngsters, one of the kids coming out of the supermarket with your little fistful of cards. You know, it gives you something to aspire to look forward to. Here we go. Interesting. So we got a Genie double. Done that one. 26, that's a low number. Who's this? Julia Macavaldo? I presume... Let's see, is there anything on the back here to tell me what this is? No, it's not telling me. So is it maybe the center card has the logo of whatever it is? This is card 1 of 3, so we need a center card. And here's our guy. Han Solo. I don't care if he shot first. They've gone a photo. Millennium Falcon, that's kind of cool. Again, photo. They're not messing around with this one. You're getting the real deal. That's pretty good. I like that. That's good enough. Background's a little bit basic. What is that background? I can't even really tell what that is. I'd have to have a closer look, I think. I don't know. What do you think? What is the Han Solo background? You happy with a Harrison Ford card? That's good enough for me. Everybody likes Han Solo. Here we go. One of the big Disney heroes of this sort of modern era. Aladdin from Disney's Aladdin and Abu. Don't leave Abu out. Getting him in the bonus round of the Sega Mega Drive game. That was the one that I played. That's the one I like. I'm not so into the Nintendo ones and all that. What are we doing? We're adding a gaming segment. Agrabah there. So we need that center card to get a good look at Agrabah. That's pretty good. That's a nice card. Represents, you know, the iconic rendering of the characters. Maybe would be nice to bump him up. The real estate they're losing in the sort of trade dress of the card is a little disappointing. You're really not getting the best out of the characters. Might be nice to bump him up, have a little bit more real estate up here. You don't need the Disney logo. Get him up, and maybe to be able to see the pants, the puff of the pants would be nice, just in terms of the iconic imagery. We got Mum Bear. I don't know what Mum Bear is. Is this another Brave character? Was that Castle Dunbroch? That's got to be Brave. A little bit of Scotch going on there, and there's a Princess Leia. Very good. Edge of the Falcon. Good stuff. We're not getting too many doubles here. That's kind of exciting. I presume this is a bigger series. I think 108. Is that more than the last one? I don't remember. Write a self-addressed envelope. Send it in. Tell me all about it. Tell me what I got wrong. Here's, Louisa. What is that? Madrigal? That can't be right. I'm very sorry. I apologize. for my very unfortunate pronunciation. Madrigal? That doesn't feel right either. Clue me in the comments. Hit me up. We got Remy. Is he the dude? He's the guy, right? He's the rat. He's the rat in Ratatouille, right? That's the guy? That's the guy, officer. Paris. Not just a Disney thing. Paris is a real thing, kids. You know. And we got an Ultron double. Sure. I'm a little disappointed so far. I want some, I want like a Daredevil, a Bullseye. I forget who else. Is Doctor Doom in this set? Doctor Doom's become a big deal lately. Well, here's a new Marvel one. That's exciting. Oh, we got a couple of good ones. Alright. I'm happier now. There's Thor. That's pretty good. I like that. That's a good looking Thor. That's more of a comics Thor. So that's kind of exciting. Not my favorite version of the helmet, but sort of a more recent thing. Is that like a 2010s? He starts wearing that bigger helmet. That particular version anyway. He's had different helmets over the years. There are earlier versions of the helmets. I'm aware of that, but you know, that's pretty good. Nice rendering. That's your third card in the Asgard set, so I guess it's with Loki and Hela. That works. Here's the big man. It's Cap. Love Captain America. Not my favorite design here, if I'm totally honest. I don't know what's going on here with the chest. Chest with the extra red line, and I'm not the biggest chin strap fan, if I'm totally honest. This looks like, this is very much movie era. And to me, in my opinion, the movies really did not do Captain America designs really a lot of favors. Chris Evans sent out to look like a novelty rubberized device, shall we say. Yeah, just looking like a real pinhead, a real dork. A little bit like, reminds me of some of those stress dolls that you would get with the sort of rubber, you know. Just never looked good. I can see they did do this kind of thing where it's almost like it's like a headpiece helmet with a strap rather than the full cowl. To me, the best costume he had in all of the films was the WW2, like the touring show version with it was just cloth, and it was basically like a cloth version of the comics costume. To me, that was the best Cap ever looked in those films. I don't know what to tell you. Avengers Tower in the background, not the most exciting thing. I think of that as, again, more of a movie reference. Not as into that, but, you know, fair enough. I mean, they did it in the comics. We got a Chewbacca double. That, something about that art style, particularly the sort of neon colors and stuff, that's reminding me of some of the Star Wars trading cards they did, like in the 90s, that I picked them up. More than I actually remember, I noticed, going through my trading cards. Well, maybe we'll revisit things like that along the way. I'll dig them out of my archives, see what we got. I like doing these pack rips. It's a little bit more exciting, but yeah, we'll revisit some more that are just things that I have in my collection, I guess. Who we got here? Sven and Christoph. What is this? Is that I don't know if that's still Brave or maybe Frozen or something like that. I'm not sure. Disney fans, hit me up in the comments. Tell me all about it. We got a Star-Lord double. Don't need that. Hey, it's a Queen Amidala with sort of like a, I don't know what they're going for there. It's almost like a colorized photocopy sort of vibe they're going for. Not quite a hologram, but you know, okay. Trying to mix it up, I guess. Is it too much to ask that maybe you just give us a clean image? Tatooine on the back, so she's the central Tatooine card. I don't know, what are we going to get? Anakin? I mean, Darth Vader was in the previous set, so they can maybe afford an Anakin. Sure, why not? Do you need to see me ripping into these packs, opening it up, These packets, they're sort of like they're a light paper, so they're not like a foil pack or anything like that. There's three cards in a pack, as you no doubt have observed. I forget how many there were last time. It feels like there's less, but there probably isn't. This dude again, Sven and Kristoff. Not sure about those guys. Arendelle Village, that doesn't really tip me off, but that's double. We got a Cosmo double, but we get a Sand Everywhere baby Anakin. Anakin Skywalker just looking completely indifferent. The banality of evil. Draw a little Hitler mustache on there. I don't know if I should be making those kinds of references during a Disney stream. Let's keep it moving. Okay, here we go. Something new. I don't know what this is. Pearl. Another Pixar one. I don't know what that is. Looks like it's under the sea. It's in the Great Barrier Reef, so I'm guessing is that maybe, might not be Finding Nemo, could be Finding Dory, could be Shark Tale. I don't know. Who makes what? Another Okoye. That's kind of cool. Be cooler to get a Black Panther, though, I think we can all agree. And here we go. Sort of like a pop art Obi-Wan Kenobi in the style of Ewan McGregor and the prequels. We're good, I guess, you know. Probably not my favorite card that we've seen so far. I wonder, Doctor Strange would be a good one. Even, you know, if it was more of a comic style Doctor Strange, that'd be cool. Here we go. We got Dante. Who is Dante? I don't know. Land of the Dead. Okay. Is that maybe something to do with Soul? Is that what that movie was called? I can't remember what that movie was called. Maybe it had like a jazz vibe that looked interesting. That's one that I might check out one day. Hey, here he is. It's Black Panther. A little bit more movie style. I prefer the comic book style. And we were talking about like the Christopher Priest comics. I forget who drew. I'm blanking on the artist, and I feel really bad about that because that's a bit of a problem at the moment. A lot of people talking about writers and referring to writers for comics in particular, particularly like ongoing runs, and sometimes that does feel applicable. Sometimes a writer does seem to be an overseer. I'm thinking of something like Grant Morrison's New X-Men was really controversial recently because X-Men 97 Season 2 announced that they're going to be using some of the black leather, yellow sort of symbol designs from the sort of like 2001 New X-Men reboot. Grant Morrison was an overseer and the writer of that, but those designs were by Frank Quitely, who was a major component of that. And like design is a big feature of Frank Quitely's work. You know, he sort of has, he almost has like a fashion sensibility, a pop fashion sensibility. So he was, I'm sure, involved in that design process. I believe that's the case. I gotta think back to my Wizard magazine days. You know, I believe Frank Quitely was very much involved in that design with Grant Morrison, collaborating, and they were working from what was done with the 2000 film, the first of the Fox films. You know, the black sort of pleather look, which was disappointing at the time. They make that joke, sort of, you know, what do you expect? Yellow spandex? You know, like actually, I kind of wish it was more like that. And now Deadpool and Wolverine's out. We all agree that Wolverine looks awesome. The brown costume looks really good too, though. That brown costume, particularly because the brown costume sort of has the more simple lines into the shoulder. I quite like that, the way it's just sort of like a simple curve to the shoulder. Doesn't have like extra panels and bits and bobs. It's very organic and smooth looking. I quite like that. I like the rumor that's going around that maybe they're working on like a Wolverine Hulk movie or something more with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. And if you could do it in the brown costume, that'd make me pretty happy because I love the brown costume. Great to see that yellow costume too, though. That was awesome too. I got no complaints about that. That's awesome. Black Panther, though. So the comics that I'm referring to, and again, really kicking myself, I cannot think of who the artist was. But I particularly like that look where it's sort of, because like in the comics early on, Black Panther is really just like a dude in like a really dark sort of black with maybe blue highlight or purple highlight. Probably more blue, but black, gray in the early issues. Black sort of cat suit with the little sort of ear design that sort of evokes that. But then they updated it for that late 90s stuff where he gets sort of like some nice gold highlights. It looks really good. That's probably my peak Black Panther, if I'm totally honest. I don't like all the panels and stuff, although you know, like with maybe some tweaks, it could be good. I don't know about this sort of, this looks like a cat collar, I guess, but there's sort of like a tribal element to it that's kind of interesting. And that's kind of one of the cool things about Black Panther. I feel like the movie is actually kind of a little bit like a lot of Marvel ones. It's a bit mid-level. You know, it's not bad, it's not great. I feel like that will put it over the top. And the things that really I think are interesting about it are sort of that the much discussed Afrofuturism of it. I mean, some of that's really cool. Black Panther is really cool. I suggest you check out the comics that I've mentioned many times. Let's get moving though. I don't want to stall on that. Hella, that's a hella double right there. Ooh, here's an interesting looking one. Who's this dude? Hector, with sort of a Day of the Dead vibe. So I don't know what this is. I'm doubting now that this is it called Soul? Is that the one I'm thinking of? I think they did that in the 100 Disney 100 Wonders set. Gotta go back to the archive for that one. So maybe they've already done that one. And is this that more recent one? There was sort of like a Latin American one. I forget what it was called. I want to say like, maybe did it start with a C, or am I thinking of something else maybe? It was just like somebody's name or something. It just sort of came and went. I didn't hear anything about it before it came out. And then it seemed to be gone in like a week. Didn't hear a damn thing about it. Did it go straight to streaming? I don't know. I don't know who this dude is, but I like it. That's cool. Sort of a Day of the Dead, Grim Fandango vibe going on there. I like all that kind of Day of the Dead stuff. That's pretty good. Here's one I'm not so keen on, Ghost Spider. So today, like the big news in sort of Marvel films is that Sony is trying to push in to a fourth Tom Holland film. And the rumor is it will be another sort of multiverse thing. I presume that they're looking at it. Obviously, Marvel is pushing big into quote unquote multiverse. You know, mileage varies how much it's really just like half-ass references and multiverse is incidental, which is really, I guess, to some extent what multiverse is really about. The multiverse addresses the anomaly of, say, the Wonder Woman TV series and a new Wonder Woman film and a Wonder Woman cartoon, which none of these things quite sync up with the master source that is the comic books. And even the comic books don't keep it straight anymore. DC have done a hatchet job on that stuff over the last sort of 15 years. Yeah, so a multiverse addresses that, but also comic books. You gotta remember, like, comic books, you know, really get their claws in sort of in the 1930s. With Marvel, you're looking at, you know, there's the Second World War era, so like late 30s into the 40s, where you got Submariner, Human Torch, Captain America coming through. Cap's like 1941, so getting towards the end of the war sort of thing. Maybe not the end, but it feels late. America getting involved a little bit late. We could have used some help a little earlier, is all I'm saying. But yeah, so your Marvel universe is really like the 60s is where it really cements itself. But even then, like, I'm sure the youngsters are going to agree, 1960s is a long time ago. You know, 80 years ago is sort of is what we're looking at now. And you had comic books coming out every week, even in the most modest lineups. So the comics were having very regular episodes, huge volumes of material there. They earned their penetration into alternate universes and interesting quick asides. These days they linger a little too much maybe, but yeah, so the multiverse, really this is a long-winded explanation that the multiverse of the films is really half-assed. It's not enjoyable, and the reactions seem to be to this news of a Spider-Man film again going multiverse. We had No Way Home. I actually watched No Way Home and I didn't really enjoy it. Last time we did this I hadn't seen it. I have seen it now. Yeah, I wasn't impressed. I really enjoyed the Sam Raimi films, particularly the first two. That's, you know, it's a dodgy Green Goblin in terms of adapting the comics, but I enjoyed it for what it is back then, and I still enjoy that film. That's a good quality film, great grounded material, great, you know, everything is done to a high standard. It's at least a 4-star film, probably, I would say. Second one is very good too. Third one, I still enjoy. It's got some fairly obvious weaknesses. But the newer ones are just like weak. They're really weak. I thought No Way Home was a really mediocre film. Didn't enjoy it. So anyway, yeah, not excited about multiverse and more Spider-Man films. I'm gonna check out Into the Spider-Verse. I actually haven't seen that yet. don't know how I'm going to feel about it because I'm generally not interested in these sort of sideways characters. I've kind of done my dash with that, you know, a long time ago when, you know, Spider-Girl was sort of interesting, sort of that spun off out of What If. I think that was one of the last, was it the actual last issue of What If was Spider-Girl, and then it sort of spun off into its own series. I sort of dabbled in that. I dabbled in the M2 Marvel 2 alternate future. They did that. There's been a lot of sort of like attempts at a series. It always runs out because people essentially, eventually, not as interested in these sort of ultimately, you know, short-lived things. They're keeping this Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider thing going, so I don't know. I'm not very interested in it, if I'm honest. I'd rather see a new character. Or there's plenty of existing. If you want like a Spider-Girl type character, you got Jessica Drew's pretty good, pretty solid. I like the what's her name? Jennifer Walt? No, that's not right. The 80s one, you know. You got other options that are in, you know, more organically in your universe. I don't really need this stuff. I don't know. That's a really long explanation to say that I'm just not that into Ghost Spider. What can I say? My camera has just gone on the fritz. I just got a Thor. I don't know. I'll see if I can recover this. Might have hit. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're live, pal. So there you go. Thor double. I'm going to stop yakking on at length, but you will be able to find this in the comics Hellhole playlist in the YouTube archive. So I am gonna give special attention probably to the comic stuff. That's the stuff that means the most to me, that I have the most connection with, that I enjoy the most. And you go check out the comic book playlist. Huge chunk of it is video games that are just comic book related. A lot of Ninja Turtles in there. I played Incredible Hulk and a few other ones. A lot of that stuff is in there, but at some point I've done some sort of like, we're calling it the flippin' hellhole, looking at comics and just chatting about comics and stuff. We got some things like that. Here's another Sven and Kristoff, that's a double. Here's another Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot and Rocket. You know, they're cool. That's fun. Enjoy that. What do we got on the back? We got a nice little central image of nowhere. I have a grievance with the Guardians of the Galaxy film, which was praised for a lot of its design. I really feel like its filming let it down. There was probably some wonderful design work there, I'm sure, but I feel like it's not filmed to really let you absorb it. It's very unfocused. It's a common problem, I think. Visually, aesthetically, these Marvel films just don't hit the mark. So I feel like that was a little bit overrated. The designs probably, you could have lingered, you could have absorbed it more. I don't know, those movies feel very shallow to me, the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think I preferred the second one, and I haven't seen the third one. I don't really anticipate that I'm going to enjoy the third one quite as much, partly because it seems to be, you know, it's like an off-brand, high evolutionary. It's not really the high evolutionary of the comics, and things like that just, you know, not exciting to me these days. But there's Groot and Rocket, that's cool. And we got a 3PO in that sort of, that one's, the yellow, that's giving me like the poster of The Shining or whatever, the vibe, you know, with the, what the hell's going on here? That's a very peculiar choice. There's Tatooine with is that part of the moisture farming stuff? Gotta head down to Tashi Station, get power converters. Does anybody remember the Tashi Station website? Which was sort of like a weird comedy website. I used to enjoy that back in the day, sort of late 90s. It was a good one. Your bona fide, legit, real deal, original Spider-Man, amazing Spider-Man, spectacular Spider-Man, sensational Spider-Man. He's everything. That's good. What's on the back? Daily Bugle, but it's really just a tree. It's a tree and a bit of gloss. But that's cool. We like that one. We got Shuri. So more Black Panther. I guess we got the 3 Black Panther characters. That's pretty good. I could have done with maybe a Killmonger in there. You know, he's been good for the movies. Ulysses Claw, classic Nemesis. Loki double. So we've done all right. We've got some doubles now, but mostly good stuff. There's another Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, whatever you want to call her. Sure enough, another Cosmo. Okay, and another Jean Grey. So we got Jean Grey and we got Wolverine. Who's the other character? It will be Cyclops, I guess. It'd be nice if there were some more More X-Men like Colossus, Nightcrawler would be good. You know, maybe a Rogue would be nice. You can have a Gambit if you want. Here's another one, sort of same kind of deal. Miles Morales, Ultimate Marvel was another one of those sort of extended excursions into an alternate universe. They were created really sort of in an attempt to ingratiate film fans who found the comics, you know, particularly in the internet age. There's this meme that spread the idea that the comics are somehow impenetrable, not sure where to start, things like that. You know, nothing's really changed. I mean, that's not true. I shouldn't say that, because maybe the barrier is a little bit more raised. But to me, go to the racks, see what's on there, see what looks interesting to you, flip through it if you can, if you're allowed to, if you can, make an informed decision. Maybe check out, look something up on the internet or whatever if you want to know before you go. Be armed with some knowledge, and then just dive in. Just grab an issue, figure it out. If it doesn't read well, to hell with these guys. Don't come back. Seek something else out. For me, the great joy is like the discovery. You shouldn't be going into narratives and stories with total expectations. If it's an adaptation, obviously, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there are certain core principles that should be represented, things that define what it is. It's a licensed adaptation. It should represent that to a certain degree. But in terms of the story specifics, you want to give that room to breathe. One of the last ones that I have maybe some real enthusiasm for is X-Men First Class, which to me was the best of the X-Men films, at least up until Deadpool. I think Deadpool 2 is very good. I haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet. I'll check that out at some point later. I don't expect that to be my favorite. X-Men First Class is great. It deviates from the comics significantly. It even rubs abrasively against the previous X-Men films, but it is a high standard film. It's just a great episode. It's a great standalone episode. I love the vibrancy of the colors that they bring into the costume designs. The designs are very good. The film design is fantastic. Design is great, and sort of cinematography and the editing sensibilities, very referential to like 60s cinema, and they didn't shy away from the fact that they were looking at Bond. You got British director Matthew Vaughn. A lot of British directors, particularly males of a certain age, are going to be referencing the Bond films in different ways. I feel like he does it in the best way, really looking at the best quality 60s films like Dr. No or something like that. To me, Dr. No is sort of, although it's a little bit light on in some ways, I still think it's one of the better Bond films. It holds up much better than some of the later installments. I'm not the biggest Bond fan, to be honest, but there's a certain sensibility of the style, the wardrobe and things like that that's present in X-Men First Class. So generally, in terms of its quality as a film, as an adaptation, you know, the adaptation side is a little bit let down, and that actually led to that was where some of the friction between Marvel, Disney, and Fox was starting to come through. And that movie, it rather infamously, like on the comics side and stuff, really no support from Marvel, not a lot of advertising, not a lot of discussion or attempts to promote that film. Had a lot of people worried because it had strange differences. But again, to me, such a great film. Deviates wildly, but it's a great film and it stands up. So it's not necessarily that you can't do something different. On and on I go. But yeah, essentially, I totally lost where I was going with that. I don't know. But yeah, Miles Morales, interesting. I actually thought Miles Morales was a really interesting idea for the Ultimate Marvel comics. So you sort of had it was a fallacy from the beginning, this idea that it was quote unquote new reader friendly, that it would be unburdened by continuity. But of course, it goes for 100 odd issues. You accumulate over that time. If you're doing good comics, you're accumulating stuff. And I would like to think like the fans that came in through that are going to recognize that, you know, that's a good thing. It's a good thing to accumulate. The fun of comics is like reading backwards and forwards. Go back to the classics, get trades. I'm looking at some like trades that are discounted right now, maybe getting some Fantastic Four or something. Digging into the old favorites that I don't have, and reading the past and the future. Hey, how's it going? Chat, we got, what is that? Saab Turbo 2001. Nice to see you in the chat. I'm just waffling about comics and looking at these trading cards. So Miles Morales, I wasn't so keen on now, but in the context of the Ultimate Marvel comics, you had Peter Parker, and it was sort of like, the problem with the Ultimate Comics was it was a fallacy that they were ever going to be immune to the accumulation of like quote-unquote continuity. That was always going to be an issue. So you sort of, there was a redundancy to it because ultimately they address all the characters. They have a slight modern twist, a gimmick, often not wildly different. Morbius, it was a particularly bad one where it was sort of like, what is the point of this? There's no point anymore. So they killed Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe. They kind of went bananas. They did this sort of like I think people were still shell shocked about 9/11. They did this like apocalyptic event, and Magneto's like destroying the city and stuff. All these characters are like wiped out, and there's a new Spider-Man, and I felt like for the Ultimate Comics, it was a good point of differentiation. So I actually liked Miles Morales in that context. If you transplant him into the main Marvel universe, I lose interest because we've got a Spider-Man, and you know, I'm kind of good with that. You know, what do I think about Dr. Selvig? Dr. Selvig, is that the Stellan Skarsgård character from the Thor films? Who's Dr. Selvig? I don't know. I don't have any strong feelings about that. I don't really care about movie characters in general. That's what I would say. We got a double. It's another Okoye. That's cool. And we got another Wolverine. We're glad to see him. We're almost done here. We're under the last pack, so you're out of luck in the chat. This is it. Last pack. Who are we going to get? Hope it's something good. Man, I've been raving about Spider-Man. Okay, it's all doubles here, but we got another Peter Parker. So there's the Spider-Man that I'm generally have a preference for. You know, I think part of the problem too is, okay, I feel like you got to discuss this because there's some maniacs running around who are dissing Miles Morales for the wrong reasons. And like I said, within the context of the Ultimate Comics, I like the point of difference. And that's what's lacking now. That's part of the problem. You don't have a strong point of difference, even to the extent where, like, originally Miles Morales didn't have webbing, and I like that. I like the differences, create the differences, whereas he got webbing, and it kind of like, it's just like it reminds me of like, he's that kid who shows up and then just copies another kid. And so like, this is the wannabe Spider-Man. Like, give me something different. He's got that like electromagnetic vibes thing and stuff. I like that. Points of difference. That was good. It was interesting too, like in the Ultimate Comics, he had like a rivalry with Omega Red, like an ultimate version of Omega Red, which is just like, well, that's weird. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I was very torn about the Ultimate Comics though, because ultimately they're not going anywhere. They're not, just make it good in the mainline comics. Create a new character. That's we don't need more Spider-Man doppelgangers. We got plenty of them. God knows, like, we got way too many now. I mean, you gotta remember, people didn't like the Clone Saga when it was happening back in the 90s, man. Okay, I kind of, I went with it. I enjoyed some of the Ben Reilly stuff. I like the big idea of, like, we'd secretly been living with the wrong Spider-Man. That was kind of cool, but it's a gimmick, and you move on from it. You reset to your iconic main character, and you move on. So I don't know. I think the big issue with Miles Morales is he needs an identity of his own, and I think that, I don't know what you call him, but something like that. I don't know, and I'm super torn. I mean, they've got a new Ultimate line now, and it's really nothing to do with the classic one, and it's not even principally related, because the original principle was really to look at, like, the X-Men films are big, Spider-Man movies are big, let's do like a new version and sort of tap into a little bit of that sensibility with more of a comic book flavor. The new one is just kind of like it's a parallel universe thing, and I imagine it'll taper out at some point. I don't know. Maybe it's interesting. It's not really my bag. Like I said, I feel like I've done that. I really enjoyed Mutant X around 2000. That was like a down period for me in comics, but I read a lot of Mutant X. I got really sick at one point, and I had like a stack of those issues. And I feel like every long time comic book fan has some story about when they got sick and they got some comics. There's a guy like I don't know. Yeah. That's mine anyway. Mutant X, and we got another Shuri. That's cool. I like that. Black Panther's good, and a Loki. So there you go. Our ratio is pretty good. I don't know. What do you guys reckon? I think that's pretty good in terms of the amount we opened. We opened 25 packs, so that's got to be 25 packs, three cards in a pack. How's your math, kids? That's 75 cards. You got it. Good job. Look at this. This is our stack of all originals, I think. Yeah, and these are our doubles. So we made out pretty good, better than half, that's for sure. That's pretty good. What's my favorites? I like Spider-Man. Spidey was good. That's a good one. We've done a lot of Spidey here. We've talked about that. I don't know what this is, but this Hector guy, I dig his vibe. Check that out. That's pretty good. Tell me what that's from, because I want to look it up. I'm gonna forget as soon as I put this down. It's over. I'm gonna forget. The Thor card is pretty good. I like that one. I want a Doctor Strange. I don't know if there is one, but I want one. And I want a Daredevil. And I thought it was really cool the Bullseye is in there. So they're not just doing the easy stuff. I think there's some other villains. Is there a Baron Zemo or something? I think there's a Doctor Doom. If they got some Fantastic Four in there, that'd be great. Because I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon with the movies. I love Fantastic Four. I have my whole life. And that's cool. That's a nice 3PO. What do you reckon? That's pretty good. We're revisiting the favorites now. That's what I'm doing here. Chewbacca. I like that because it's just like an interesting pop art image. That's kind of cool. It reminds me of those old 90s Star Wars trading cards. If you think I should dig those out and talk about what I've got, see what I've got, that'd be pretty good. Arnim is a good one. That's pretty cool for a villain. You gotta have some villains in your set. Winter Soldier, do we count him as a villain? I think he's on the side of the Angels now. That's pretty good. Jasmine's pretty good. That's pretty solid. Hey, she's got the lamp, That's alright. The Genie's pretty good. Genie's a good one. Everybody loves the Genie, the Robin Williams version in particular. That's pretty good. And Jean Grey's pretty good too. Come on. So that's me. I'm done. It is ridiculously late right now. I am so exhausted. I imagine I'm speaking in slow motion. I'm doing my best not to, but I do know that as I get tired and fatigued, these things drag out. If you want to see more of this stuff, head to the YouTube archive. If you're on Twitch, like my buddy Saab Turbo 2001, make sure you check out the About section. There is a link to the YouTube archive. Right now, there's just a lot of chaos going on in my life. We're waiting on construction for a section of the house. There's been a whole drama. It's not good. It's not good stuff. I'm exhausted right now. I'm just discombobulated. But we got weekly episodes of Saturday Night Slam Masters going up right now, building up to the big International Blowout special event. So it's WWE 2K style wrestling, but it's the Capcom wrestling characters, and I'm trying to do some storylines and dig into the references because I love those fighting games. I love the Capcom characters. Hopefully you're enjoying that too. I'm doing the deep cuts. Hopefully there's enough of a balance there that if you're a Slam Masters Muscle Bomber fan, you're getting what you need. Maybe you're anticipating some of the characters that aren't there. You're getting ahead of me, but you know it's coming. And then I'm getting in some of those like Street Fighter 6 World Tour oddities and stuff like that. Oh, thank you very much, Saab Turbo. He's wishing me luck with my house. It's a calamity, I swear. So I haven't been around much, but I'd like to be around a lot more. I'd like to be doing some more things. I am eagerly anticipating the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. That's like the biggest thing in gaming for me right now. I'm waiting for that. Rumor is it might come out in November, so I'm a little disappointed we got to wait that long, but I'm looking forward to it. That could be like a good Christmas winner. I think... I'm really looking forward to revisiting all those games because I haven't played them in like 20 years or something. But I've never played The Punisher, and I've always wondered what it's like. So I'm really keen to finally be able to play The Punisher. I'll probably do a bit of streaming of that and maybe talk your ear off about some comic stuff again. I'm not the biggest Punisher guy, but I'm sure there'll be stuff to talk about. Kingpin's in there. We'll probably be talking about what I wish was in a game like that isn't. Because, we got to do some backseat booking and have our complaints and critiques. That's okay. Nobody's getting hurt here. Everything's fine. If you want to dig into more comic stuff, head to the YouTube archive, or if you're already on YouTube, just check out the channel and see what you like. We got the trading card art going on. We got Saturday Night Slam Masters is the current thing, but yeah, definitely not intending to be wrestling central. It's just that I haven't been able to really do much else, and I've built up like enough of those episodes to get them out. We're building up the International Blowout. That's going to be cool. Some good stuff coming up. Week 12, the Crash Carnival goes to Canada. I think that's an interesting one. Check out Japan, the one with the white-faced guy with the fireworks. Check that one out, because nobody's checked that one out. I really like that one, because it's got like a Antonio Inoki thing going on there. We sort of got like a little bit of an Andre the Giant vibe with Hugo in Japan. I really enjoyed that, and it put Budo over the top. I don't know, I enjoy that kind of stuff. I am a wrestling fan. What else we got? We got the comic book Hellhole playlist, so check that out. There's some actual comic stuff if you dig deep enough. All kinds of stuff in the archive. I don't know, I'm tired. I'm all over the place. It's just been a nightmare lately. I probably look like hell, and I feel like it too. You're in the hellhole though, so that's okay. Totally appropriate. And I will see you next time. We'll dig into more of these at some point, because they're just like I said, I'm walking along and they go, they're just like Gambit style. Fistful of cards flying at me. They're exploding. They're just giving them away. I did not spend hundreds of dollars on these. Don't let that ad fool you at the front. I'll be back. Adios, amigos! Godspeed, Spider-Man!